Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Talk Football. It's a Premier League preview show, a little bit later than we would normally have it. Been enjoying the good weather over here in the UK. Thank you, obviously, for everyone for joining us. Dan and Jesse, as always, for Friday slot, going to be bringing you all of our views and opinions of this weekend's matches, give you some predictions, things that we're looking out for, things you guys should be looking out for, especially if you've got some FPL in mind. We're going to have a little bit of that coming up. Want to see your comments in there for us. Let us know you're watching. Come say hi. Get involved. It really does help. It really makes it entertaining. We'll always engage with our community. So, yeah, Jesse, how are you, mate, before we get going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you very much. Looking forward to the football being back on. Just watched a really entertaining game there. Burnley versus Watford. Really good win for Watford. Went down to 10 men. Burnley were banging on the door. They just couldn't make it stick.
Yeah, they had like 4 or 5 good chances at the end. Hit the woodwork, I think.
Very good chances. Yeah, the keeper for Watford really pulled off some big hits there. Really, really did. So good result. But talking of big results that are needed, first game at 12:30 p.m. kickoff in the UK. Just for those of you who are looking at that and thinking that sounds a bit strange, these are in America. Aston Villa versus Everton. Jesse, what do you make of this game? I mean, I'm really looking forward to this match, to be honest.
Yeah, Everton need to get off to. They need to show us something. They need to show us some form. Aston Villa had a really poor result against Bournemouth. When we were looking at those games, though, it was out of the bottom 3 teams, 2 of them kicked off at home in game week 1, and both of those teams actually won.
Yeah.
So that might just be kind of that initial push that you get from playing your first home game, being back in the Premier League. But still, Aston Villa definitely need a result. So does Everton. I know you have some thoughts on how much pressure should be on these managers. So
there's a huge amount of pressure. I mean, if you think about it, we've got Aston Villa, 35% win rate for Steven Gerrard. I'm a Liverpool fan, as everybody knows, and ultimately, I'm going to back my man. I'm going to back the legend in Steven Gerrard, and I still think he's a very good manager. You don't go invincible in any league, never mind just the Scottish League, to win the title, go invincible. And they did well in Europe as well, by the way. They actually, his team was the one that went on to the final that season after he'd already left. So he was doing good things, and he's a good manager. But Aston Villa, it doesn't look like a happy team. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like it gels properly. It seems whatever happened after Jack Grealish left, it seems to have carried on that level of, Dean Smith, who was a manager before, couldn't get a tune out of them after Grealish left, and then he got sacked. Steven Gerrard came in. There was an initial boost, which you normally see with new managers coming in, and they played some stronger football. And I was defending him and saying, well, he's losing games that you'd say he probably should lose. Liverpool, Man City, the Chelsea. These are all teams where you go, well, do you know what? Aston Villa against the top 6, if you're going to lose, I mean, it's par for the course. They're not a top 6 team. They probably are going to lose, and the performances beguiled the results. The one that sticks in my mind was when Steven Gerrard came and played anti-football at Anfield and very, very nearly got a point out of us if it wasn't for Tyrone Mings giving a penalty away. So he knows what he's doing, but Bournemouth, I mean, you'd be looking at that. And I remember on our first preview show last week, for those of us watching, I said that was a must-win. And it was for Aston Villa, an absolute must-win. And they failed spectacularly. They were crap.
Yeah, that will have been a banker for them, wouldn't it? You watched that game, right?
I did. I watched the second half and watched the extended highlights again as well.
Was the performance actually that bad? Or
toothless? Exactly what happened last season, with Aston Villa. They were a toothless team. They just, I mean, looking here, shots on target, exactly that, toothless. That's what I saw. They had the ball. I was watching Aston Villa, controlled the ball, but every time they actually went and did something, as in, once it got to that final third, once it got into your attacking goal scorers, there was nothing. And then what Bournemouth did was kind of that efficient football that they didn't have the chances, but when they presented themselves, they took them, and it was just a much better situation, to be honest. From Bournemouth, they were outplayed, and this game against Everton, who were strong and resilient against Chelsea. They've always been a team who is Chelsea's fawn. They were a fawn team. There was one that they could never seem to get the result in against. but they lost. They've lost a couple of key players. Losing Holgate, looks like Yerry Mina's out. Connor Cody's coming on a loan, so it's going to be Connor Cody's first match. It's there's a lot of pressure, and I still don't see any goal scorers in that Everton team. That's the thing. That's the only thing I can see is Everton. I don't know where the goals are going to come from.
Yeah, no, neither do I. Everton's squad is in a terrible state right now, and when it comes to, let's pull up Twisted comment here. Why does anyone expect anything from?
Look at the team.
The team's very good, and it's well constructed as well. Like, it does have some balance. They have good players in there. I think the
Luca Dean, Matty Cash. As your wing backs, spot on.
I would take both of them.
You take them all day, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
We've got Ezri Konsa. He's a good centre back. He's not a bad centre back. He's a good centre back.
He's good.
Brought in Diego Carlos. Played brilliant in La Liga. You know, is a good quality centre back playing there. Emi Martinez is a really good goalkeeper, top goalkeeper. I'm actually surprised that Arsenal let him go, to be honest. He's a top keeper. Yeah, going into the midfield, John McGinn, more than a serviceable player, someone who's going to work his socks off, absolutely fantastic. Felipe Coutinho has come back to the Premier League where he looks like he belongs again. Leon Bailey, you know, we watched him in pre-season. We know what he can do in Bundesliga. He had an injury-prone season last one, but from pre-season, he looked strong. He looked like the kind of player that everyone thought he was going to be. Yeah, Danny Ings.
Prolific.
Yeah, Danny Ings. He's a goal scorer.
Injury prone, but prolific. One thing I will say is Ollie Watkins has been underperforming for the past 12 months. If he can get back up to the levels that he showed in his debut season with Villa, there's absolutely no reason why he can't bang 10 to 15 goals.
Oh, out of Ings and Ollie Watkins, I'd expect 30 goals between them. That's my opinion. For that pair, just alone, 30 goals. Pitching with Leon Bailey with, 10, 12 goals himself. Matty Cash will come up with a load of assists. He might get 2 or 3 goals because he can hit one from distance, Matty Cash. He's just one of them kind of players who can do that. Felipe Coutinho is going to pop in with 6 or 7 goals. There's goals in that team. These are all feasible numbers, but it just doesn't seem to gel. John McGinn gets a couple of goals a season as well. There's goals in the midfield. There's goals in attack. They've got some big, tall centre-backs who can get a goal. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good players in that Villa team, but it's not gelling. So, yeah, I mean, my prediction, this has got a lot of pressure, lots and lots of pressure. If Aston Villa don't win, there's going to be people calling for Steven Gerrard's head down in Villa Park. The Midlands, they'll be calling for his head.
He's getting close to the 33% win percentage mark, which is not good enough. No. Especially for someone who's being lauded as potentially the best up and coming English coach. I know that forget Potter, forget those guys, but out of that kind of class of players that graduated from being a very good Premier League footballer or an elite one to going to that next stage, he's been the most hyped at this moment in time.
But he's the one who's actually achieved the most.
No, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? He does come with the right. He's lauded because he has achieved. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to, we're not going to dig out Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You win the league that you're in. But to win the SPL when it's not Celtic is an achievement. It is a big achievement. I never gave Brendan Rodgers props for winning the league with Celtic, because if you can't win it with Celtic, there's something wrong with you. It's as simple as that. You're not a good manager. That's the the baseline for a club like that. But when he was able to take Rangers, build a team, bring good quality players in, good talent ID, players like Ryan Kent, players like Harry Wilson, who was Harry Wilson was there for a little bit.
I'm not exactly sure, but I was just going to bring this up as well.
Yeah, bring it up. Yeah.
No, what is Gerard Ball? I think so. I actually just wanted to bring this up because I think it's interesting because we're pointing out all these flaws with Gerard's game, with his coaching. But why is Lampard not getting the same amount of pressure from the media? I actually think it's really weird because I feel like in England, players like I'm not going to use Paul Scholes because he doesn't fit into this debate, but like players like Paul Scholes and Gerrard are incredibly offensive when you mention them in the media.
Oh, yeah, they're divisive.
For whatever reason, Lampard is just like, no one bothers. Like, there's no real agenda, which is probably good. Like, I'm not saying that you should even treat everyone equally. I'm just saying he's so inoffensive that everyone's just giving him a pass, giving him a buy. I mean, we had Chelsea fans in our Discord calls saying he did a great job keeping him up last season. No, I don't think he did a great job.
No, he didn't. He was lucky. He was lucky that they were not as bad as other teams. It's as simple as that. It wasn't that he rescued them. It was other teams imploding below them. That was the only rescue that actually happened, was other teams imploding below them. That was as simple as that. Norwich is a guaranteed position down. So there's only two relegation spots available, and in there we had a very, very poor Watford who didn't win at home all season until the last game, I believe it was.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, they're very poor. So there's only really one position available. And this season that went to Burnley, who, I mean, to be fair, it almost was a masterstroke when they promoted Mike Jackson from the under-23s team as a manager, because he went from playing Burnley 2022 to Ajax 1995 for a couple of weeks. He played really, really well.
Yeah, and just here, I mean, I agree Lampard is just as bad. I don't think Gerrard is a bad manager. I think it might just be something somewhat political with him, with the Villa camp. He came in.
I think it's the wrong team.
Yeah, he immediately came in and basically said, I mean, he did what he did at Rangers, but the problem is at this level, it's a step up, and coming in and basically saying, despite what you did at Rangers, coming in basically being like stamping your authority and acting like, I've been here, I've done it. I just think that some players might not have bought into it. But then again, like he has pull. I just think that at the end of the day, he's going to need to get more out of the squad. And just to kind of pull on that again, what is Gerrard Ball? Gerrard hasn't been around long enough. He doesn't have this sort of thing. Like when people talk about styles of play with established managers, you're talking about someone who's been doing this for decades. And so they have a clear philosophy. I think Gerrard is the kind of person, kind of coach, manager who you can give a set of players and then he'll try to get the best out of what he has. Yeah. And he's not, I don't think he has a designated style of play, but
no, I don't think so. Yeah. And neither does Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp's actual football has changed over time. It has to always evolve. There's very few managers other than, say, Pep. Pep's kind of been the one who's been the manager who can keep the same level, but he's changed. He was tiki-taka for a long time, and then he realised that doesn't work anymore, and he's had to, develop his style and change his style of management. They come and go. So anyway, we'll get on, because this was the one we were going to bang on about, because this has got a lot of drama behind it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one which I think has got the most interesting points to it. So a lot of pressure on these two managers. I'm going with a home win. I'm going to back Aston Villa based on that home crowd is going to be baying for blood. And I think if they can't do it against Everton at home, they're not going to do it anywhere. So my prediction is 2-0 to Aston Villa. 2-0 to Aston Villa.
Yeah, it's at Villa. 2-1. I'm still not sure about that partnership between Mings and Diego Carlos. I think they have a couple stinkers in them both. I think they're both. Mings switches off.
I think it'll be Conser and Carlos.
Well, will it? Okay.
Yeah, Mings didn't play against Bournemouth. Came with a lot of flack.
I think they can concede a goal, so I'll go with 2-1. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my only reason for that is I'm not confident of any goal scorers in that Everton team, unless it's from a set piece. I don't see where the goals are coming from. Anthony Gordon's not it, man. Like, he ain't going to be the one who's going to score them goals.
No. I mean, that's stinker going into a season with Anthony Gordon up front. It's just
it's awful. Yeah. Anyway, yes, we'll crack on. We'll move on. So the next one, Southampton versus Leeds. Now, funnily enough, I've been looking at the odds. Southampton are the favourites to win this game, and I couldn't laugh any harder. I'm back in Leeds, man. I don't know what you think.
I don't know what they were watching the other day. Leeds looked way more of an established side than Southampton. I know they scored. Ward-Prowse scored a good goal, little volley into the ground at the end, at the edge of the box. Now Leeds look like a better team, and I was actually going through because I have an interest, in my American comrades, and so I kind of went through the Leeds channels, and they're loving Jesse Marsh, they're loving Tyler Adams, Roca, and Aronson, and it looks like there's a recognition that as long as those players stay fit, they actually have a good spine. Like, they're not a bad team right now. They're better at the back, and they're just as good going forward as far as we can tell at this moment in time. Calvin Phillips didn't really play for them last season. So I don't know if they're going to have a worse midfield. Like, they have two better midfielders than Dallas and Calvin Phillips that didn't even play last season. So they've improved their midfield. A little bit different now that they have like Bamford and Rodrigo, and then you have Aronson kind of all over the place, but it's going to work for them. I really do think it's going to work for them. And I think that there will obviously be a slump, but I don't think that this is the game. I don't think this is the game. So.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm not convinced that Southampton are going to. I just don't see a performance out of them. Like, they're a very unpredictable team at best. They're a team who can go from losing 4-1 to winning 3-0 week after week. They're not a predictable team, but Leeds is more organised. Leeds, I feel, has got a better team as it stands right now. I'm backing Jesse Marsch, man. I'm backing Leeds. I think, as I say, I'm going with our prediction last week. I think Southampton will be looking at relegation this season. Leeds will be looking at this game as a must-win. They'll see them as a direct competitor. Southampton will have this view as well, of course. They will have the same view and look at them and think that they can beat them and get a result. But Leeds, for me, I think will be too strong. My prediction is going to be Leeds will win. I think Leeds will probably win. I'm trying not to be too boring, but I just think it's going to be something like I don't know. I think a 1-0. I don't know. I've just got a 1-0 in. I think maybe they'll keep a clean sheet this week.
Yeah, since it's at St. Mary's,
two shots on target.
I mean, it's just not good enough, is it? And one of those was an absolute blinder as well.
Yeah,
he's not going to get. That's not going to happen. Most of the time. So, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I think that we could have a shock, but I do think it's going to be. I'm going to be really boring. I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds again. I still think that need to figure out just how their midfield will be as cohesive and get. They need more time. They need more time, but they're looking good. Was my point. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you. I genuinely think that Leeds, they're learning, but they look like a team. That's my opinion of Leeds. I mean, I don't know where these pundits are saying that Leeds are going to struggle this season. I think Leeds will be fine. I think Leeds will be absolutely fine. Do I think they're going to be putting a top half of the table challenge? No, I don't think so. But I think they'll just be a nice, solid, kind of, higher part of the lower half of the league, kind of 13th, 12th, something like that. I think they'll be pretty strong this season and quite comfortable. So, yeah, I'm backing Leeds in this game. I'm going to be backing them 1-0. I think it's going to be a 1-0 to Leeds. So, Arsenal, just finished watching the All or Nothing Arsenal documentary, which appeared to be them losing to Liverpool every episode, which was nice. That was nice to see. Which unfortunately did a lot that season. But otherwise, this is a game I can't see them losing. An absolute banker. An absolute nailed-on Arsenal win. Do you agree or disagree, Jesse?
Leicester's going to perform in this game.
Oh!
They're going to do amazing. No, I think, honestly, at the Emirates, Arsenal should get it done. But Leicester, I don't think people should sleep on Leicester as much as they might think. I don't think Arsenal played very impressively in the.
I'm Snow White. I'm out. I'm out for the count. I'm up in that tower fast asleep, waiting for the prince. I am sleeping on Leicester. They are not it, man.
No, and you're right to do so. Like that is definitely the perspective. It's the right perspective, in my opinion. I just think that Leicester do have a game in them, and Aaron, my guy.
Yeah, Aaron, you're all right, mate. How's it going? Thanks for coming on.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm actually going to post a link here in the chat in a second. But, yeah, no, Arsenal. I mean, so Arsenal should do it. I'm going to go ahead and say 3-1 to Arsenal. I do think that Leicester still has dangerous players. I just don't think that they're a cohesive side. So there's really
I'm back in 3-0 Arsenal. How's it doing, Pav? Yeah, Brenda Rodgers. Yeah, man's days are numbered, I'm afraid. Brendan Rodgers' days are numbered at Leicester. They are a ownership who will make action. And for me, this game's going to be too much. I think Arsenal will be too strong. I think at home, the Emirates will be bouncing. Leicester threw a 2-0 lead away to end up drawing with Brentford, which didn't surprise me because I actually predicted that game to be a very close match in the first instance. And I was quite pleased my view of that game was correct. That Leicester are bottles. The bottle jobs. The manager's a bottle job. His time is up. It's stale. It's done. Leicester's team is weaker. Losing Kasper Schmeichel is a shot to the heart. They've got numerous players who are looking to leave and want to go to other clubs. Their head's not in it. They're going to come up against this Arsenal team who's highly motivated and a Leicester team which is full of demotivated players. Arsenal will win this game comfortably, 3-0 for me.
Yeah, so just as a kind of a fun little discussion, just real quick, out of these 5 teams, really, no, for Aston Villa, Everton, Southampton, and Leicester, which manager goes first, in your opinion, right now?
Right now, first manager to leave.
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers.
Brendan Rodgers?
Yeah, I think Southampton will be second. I also think that they'll differ a little bit because they don't have quite the ability to pull another manager in. But for me, Brendan Rodgers, Leicester are an ownership who are very happy to pull the trigger on managers. They will do it. So I think Leicester.
I think his only saving grace, I think Brendan Rodgers' only saving grace is that they really haven't backed him at all, and they're probably still going to lose a couple of players. I don't think Madison goes by the end of this transfer window, but I think Tielemans probably does.
Yeah.
And if the news today, I mean, I'm kind of over the transfer market, not going to lie, as a United fan. But if Chelsea do come in with that third and final bid and they do get Fofana, they could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I know 100%. I mean, Fofana's head's already turned. Tielemans' head was turned last season. He wasn't interested. I don't like that in a player. That's when people have said to me, "Oh, would you have Tielemans at Liverpool?" No, I don't like his attitude. I never respect a player who downs tools when he's at a club already. I'm just not interested. That's not me. You work hard until the last minute and then leave. That's something that I could never throw at a player like Luis Suarez, who always wanted to go to Barcelona, but he never stopped playing high quality football. Which is, a slight difference than to certain players. Felipe Coutinho, I've got a bad back. Yeah, of course you have. So I'm not bitter or anything, you know what I mean? I'm not bitter. Okay, so moving on from that little moment, we're going to move to, which is, it's a bit of an interesting game. I'd like to hear people's thoughts and opinions. We've got people watching. Put your thoughts in the comments. What do you think is going to happen in the Brighton versus Newcastle game? I think I'm going with my first draw. I think this is going to be 1-1. I just do. I just think it's going to be 1-1.
Yeah, I think it's going to be boring. And I do think Brian's set up well enough to keep Newcastle out, and I think Newcastle will do much of the same. I'm going to go ahead and bring Aaron in. What up, dude?
Yo, Aaron.
What's up, guys? What's happening?
Yeah, we're good.
Really good, mate. Thanks for jumping on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, man. So you guys are talking about he needs to get sacked first. What were the choices again?
We were, yeah. Who do you think's going first? Who's your first manager out the door?
I think it's Hassan Hoodle. I don't know. I'm surprised he's still there, to be honest. Honestly,
yeah, I agree.
Shocking. I just feel like unless like Brendan Rodgers is not a bad show. I don't see who they got pre-planned to bring in that's better. Not because it is Leicester at the end of the day. It's still Leicester.
See, I'm surprised that more people aren't shouting Lampard. I think that Dan and I would, but I think
I think that Everton's getting relegated, but I just don't think that Everton will pull the trigger on Lampard first before those two get sacked.
Yeah,
the thing with Everton, I'll tell you why I don't think it's Lampard. I would have said Lampard if it wasn't for the fact that they've already replaced him so recently. The other two are nice and set in their positions, if you understand what I mean. You've got Brendan Rodgers, who's been in for a long time. He's been in for 2 or 3 seasons at Leicester. Hassan Huttle's been in for 2 or 3 seasons. It's like when you've already been and sacked a manager and then gone looking for another one. They've had a couple of managers who they didn't want. The fan base at Everton are picky at best. If they sack him, let's get it straight. They didn't want that young lad that manager from Portugal. I've forgotten his name. It'll come back to me. There was a manager who had a better kind of CV. And they were like, we're not having him, and that's it. Like the ownership were like, all right, then okay, yeah. And I think they bought Lampard in because it was like somebody they knew. I mean, I don't think he's a good manager, and I think he'll get found out over the course of the season. That's my only reason. I just think that the ownership is like, if we sack Lampard, who else is there? There's no one.
Honestly, when it comes to Everton and Lampard, it was almost one of those things that I would say they were clever with it because they understand that Lampard is immediate darling and he can keep pressure off of the club. But I also think the hierarchy is smart enough to do that. So, like I'm not actually sure if they're actually had enough about them to even think about doing that. So it's going to be an interesting one, though. Let's move on to Brighton Newcastle because we've been
Brighton versus Newcastle. Aaron, what's your predictions on this one? What did you make of Brighton? Do you think they look good?
I think Brighton look pretty good in regards to how they're playing football. You know, they're always going to give you those gaps, but Newcastle to me look like the real deal right now. Like I feel like, outside of those top 6 teams, I think they're beating every single team outside of that top 6, like kind of comfortably. Like if it goes the way that I think it's gonna go. Like I feel like they got the momentum. They're playing proper ball, like how Brighton play, but with better players. You know?
Yeah. I agree. I mean, like I've watched obviously both these games. I watched Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest. I watched Brighton versus United. Brighton played that sort of style of football, which was, exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is that kind of siege mentality football at home. At away, all the pressures against us, just soak it up and then basically use it as like a boost, like an elastic band to push them forward. And ultimately they got over the line. They got the 2-1, really good result. But they're back at home, back at the Amex down in Brighton. Newcastle against Nottingham Forest, it was 0-0 at half time. But Newcastle, the only
I feel like Nottingham Forest, they just gave that away. They were like I hope the manager learned his lesson. You cannot set up like that and expect to get anything in 2022. Like the way how they set up was so negative.
Yeah, 100%. I watched them and it was literally, I predicted, on last week's previous show, I actually backed these boys to get a 0-0. I don't know why. I just thought that they would defend like dogs, which is what they went to do. And Newcastle's attacking players, like they've got Callum Wilson, who, don't get me wrong, scores goals when he's fit, 100%. But Chris Wood, he's not it, man. And they open the scoring with a Fabian Schär absolute wonder goal, fantastic, probably up there for goal of the month. You can't rely on that every single week. And I kind of thought, well, I kind of give myself a question for what if that goal hadn't gone in? Could Nottingham have held out for that draw? They were able to carry on defending.
I think Callum Wilson's goal was really good too. Like honestly, I think like Callum Wilson's got a point to prove. I don't know if you saw his interview after, but that guy is going to be playing like he wants to make the World Cup every single week. You
just got to say he's got to stay injury free though. But even look
at well, clearly he thinks he can because he's saying it in interviews that he wants to make it and he knows he can't make it if he ain't fit. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's not up to him. It's between him and God, right?
Well, actually, do you want to know the reasons why that Callum Wilson might have been injured more often than not? Where would you live if you played for Newcastle, by the way, in the UK? Would you live near Newcastle by any chance?
I don't know.
I would. Near work.
No. What do you mean? But you don't have to live in Newcastle.
No, but 10 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles.
Yeah.
Callum Wilson lived down in Dorset, over 250 miles away.
No way.
Yeah, he travelled home every time after training. He went to training for 2 days and then would travel home back there. So the belief was he's moved up to Newcastle now, because the belief was basically he wasn't getting proper recovery or rest because he was constantly travelling back and forth, and that was probably attributed to his injuries. So we might see a Callum Wilson that doesn't get as many injuries. So I'm really keen and interested to see that.
I'm telling you, the confidence this guy sounded like he sounded like he can stay fit. I guess anyone would want to believe that, but I think he has another level to hit. He's a good player. I've always liked him.
Definitely.
Even from Bournemouth days.
What's your prediction for this game then? What do you think the score is going to be?
I think it's going to be 2-1 Newcastle.
2-1 Newcastle away from home. I can see that. I'm backing 1-0 Brighton. I think Brighton, they're going to play defensively strong. I think they were unlucky to concede against United. A little bit of an error, something they could avoid next time. but defended well. I think they could defend equally as well against Newcastle and maybe get that goal against an Eddie Howe team. So I'm back in 1-0, but I could definitely see a 2-1 the other ways, as well. I could definitely see that happening. What do you reckon, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm going to be boring 1-1.
Definitely. 1-1, yeah.
No,
do you know what? Yeah, we're not expecting loads of goals, are we?
Very possible.
Exactly, but I just want to point this out. I mean, as a starting 11, keep in mind that the Newcastle teams of the past 5 years that we've seen. I mean, this is a much improved 11 from what we've seen for the past 5 years. They are building something very slowly. So I am interested. I don't think they'll have enough this year to really threaten any of the big ones. They'll get a result against United, I'm sure, because but this is, at least they're starting to move in a direction where you can kind of see what they're trying to do. So no, it's good. And when it comes to Nottingham, I mean, they just bought 2 more players.
They just bought Emmanuel Dennis. That's a big shout. That's a good
Dennis
player.
is nice. Dennis is
They'll
nice.
get some goals with Emmanuel Dennis. Really, really.
But they can't set up like this. If
guy.
they set up like this, they're not going to get nothing. They're going to
lesson learned.
They have to learn their lesson from that.
Well,
I think that's lesson learned. The manager, who's obviously took them into that situation, kind of set up the way I thought they would, which was just going to go for that draw, try and get a 0-0, something like that, maybe catch a goal on the break. I think he's learned that if you come and play like that in the Premier League, you're going to get stung. It ain't gonna fly.
The other issue, and this is where I was kind of alluding to, they've bought 12, 15 players. It's just not. It's gonna take a long time, and they could be pulling a QPR. You know what I mean? Where coming up, buying too many players, not really having a set system. I know that people rate Scott Parker, whoever I think is no. What's the other guy? It's not Scott Parker. He's over at Bournemouth.
I don't want to get his name wrong. It's not Neil Critchley because he's the other one. He was the. Is it on there? He's on the. He's an ex-Liverpool under-23s coach. Is it further down, mate?
Yeah, he's probably further down.
Is it normally there? Yeah, it's Cooper.
Cooper. Yeah.
Steve Cooper.
People were rating. People were saying that this guy is last year they weren't playing like that. Trust me, they were playing attacking football every game.
Yeah.
He's still an inexperienced manager, and he's going to learn. He's going to have to learn quick. I'm afraid this is no apprenticeship. The Premier League. This is. The big time. Every week's a big game, and Newcastle losing away at Newcastle. I mean, it's probably par for the course for Nottingham.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
I just think my main concern for them is they need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out quick. Otherwise, they could be pulling a QPR. And I
mean, I still put them to go down regardless of whether they figure it out. I still think they go down.
I'm actually backing them to stay up. I actually think they'll have enough to stay up this season. I don't know why.
You think Everton will go down? Will go down?
My ones backed are I think Bournemouth are going down. I think Fulham are going down. And I think Southampton are going down. I could be wrong. But
I think Bournemouth look better than Nottingham, mate. I think Bournemouth look better than Nottingham right now.
You see, the thing for me is this is Scott Parker who went down with Fulham last season. Fulham always go down. I'm back in history. I'm all about that right now. So
Fulham, but I think Scott Parker, it's kind of a good show for him to get it right this time too.
It certainly is. It's a definite possibility. We'll move on for our next match: Manchester City versus Bournemouth. This is going to be a cricket score, isn't it? This is going to be silly. It's going to be it's an NFL game, isn't it? It's going to be like NFL. It'll be like 35-0.
I think Haaland gets his hat trick.
Yeah. I think something happens. I was not encouraged by when it came to FPL and just generally overall. I didn't know what Pep was going to do with Haaland, but I think we're going to see a lot more of the ball than some of us might have initially thought going through Haaland at City this season, which is not something I would have predicted. And I think when it comes to FPL, just because I need to set up my team after this, I'm about to take a hit just to get him in. Because I do think for these first 4 or 5 weeks, no. So this next game, match week 3, and then there's 3 days to the 4th game. It's the next 2 weeks. He's definitely going to start. So little tip there. He's definitely going to play the next 2 games. So. Yeah,
I mean, for me with my fantasy, it's either Salah or Haaland. I can't have them both and still have a good team. So I'm gonna stick with Salah. I still think Salah could keep up with this guy all season with the goals still.
I'm taking a see. My problem is that I'm not sure whether or not to take a hit on the price drop with Kane. So because now Kane dropped to 11.4 and Holland's up to 11.6, so I'd have to drop. I thought I had 0.5 in the bank, but apparently I didn't. So because I made a dumb transfer last minute and brought in Cucurella. So no, I honestly I might just sit on it, but it's tempting. So we'll see what I do by tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
No, 100%. I mean, for me, I'm backing 4-5, 5-0. I'm going 5-0. I think Man City
they'll
is
score
just going
one.
to demolish
I think
them.
they'll get one goal because whenever City get to like 4 or 5 goals, they don't really care about one goal. Like when one goes in, maybe it'll be 5-1 or something.
Listen, I looked at them odds. It's 1-16 for Manchester City to win this game.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
I've never seen that. Win probability 92%.
Honestly, that's actually like ridiculous.
I mean, these are all fudge stats. I don't know where Google pulls these from, but yeah, some form of aggregation. You never know, but
man, I'll tell you this: if they haven't scored by halftime, that's like a W for them. That's like a win if they make it to halftime with no goals conceded.
Mate, genuinely, it's one of those. I've got Haaland in my team. I've got Cancelo in my team. I'm ready for big numbers here from these boys.
Yeah, I even expect Grealish to do something, get an assist or something. Like, you know what I mean? Grealish, I want to see him do more this season. I picked him up. I'm like, you know what? No way. He's still a baller at the end of the day. He can have 2 seasons that bad, but we'll see. Maybe he can.
Yeah.
We
will see.
I think Grealish does a lot better this season once this kid from Anderlecht or whatever comes in, because he'll finally, for the first time in seasons, last season definitely didn't. Grealish didn't have the overlap last season because Cancelo's right-footed. So I
thought they were learning that guy back out.
No. They're bringing him.
No, he's going to stay within the first team. Apparently, according to Pep's conversation, he's going to be in the first team.
Yeah, the reports were weird. They were like, at first they said, he's going to play for a City Group team. Then they're like, Pep's on. I don't know. I read some weird reports on that.
He'll be playing in the League Cup.
There's absolutely no reason to loan him out. When they only have.
I've never heard of him. I'll be honest. I don't watch Anderlecht's a team I definitely never see. I haven't seen anything about this guy.
No, I don't know. I mean, any of us have to go off of our stats and YouTube.
Yeah, that's where we get our football knowledge from. Belgian league, I'm afraid.
His stats are decent then, because I haven't even looked into him like that.
His creative numbers are pretty good, and I mean that's where he's going to be most of the time.
Hey, Anderlecht play attacking football. They beat everyone in their league, and they play attacking football.
Depends on what position Twisted. Pep puts shackles on talented players. Yeah, it definitely depends on what position. I remember I got an argument with Neil about this on Discord because he basically was saying that Grealish has completely changed his game. Like he has, but Grealish still hasn't fully acclimatized to the way that Pep wants him to play. He was basically saying he never takes players on. No, sometimes he takes on players way too often.
Right, and sometimes he doesn't get that ball off when he should and shit. Exactly. Like he's just like the timings of that shit.
Exactly.
What's our next game there, Jesse?
Definitely not Villa Everton.
It's that way. Is it that one final game Friday?
It messes everything up when it comes.
It sends it the other way, doesn't it? Yeah, we'll get them on. Yeah. So the next game, on final 2 games, Wolves, Fulham. Not too much to say. Bad result for Wolves. Lost Connor Cody. He wasn't playing anyway. He's gone to Everton. Fulham were really good. Mitrovic was fantastic. Because he was probably the only game they play well. Knowing my luck, the rest of them will get battered. But yeah, they played very well. I'm actually thinking to myself. I mean, I'm backing a 1-1 on this one. I think Wolves will be stronger at home. I can't see them losing 2 games on the bounce. Fulham will be away, won't have that home crowd and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going with a 1-1. I'm not thinking this is going to be a one to get you off your seat, to be honest.
I think I'll agree with that. I mean, I don't think there'll be much because I watched a decent amount of the Wolves game last week. They didn't look too impressive, honestly. No. They really didn't. And Fulham looked damn good. Honestly, I know everyone thinks they're saying this because they're Liverpool fans, but I can tell you right now, fell as bad as we were. Fulham still were good. I don't give a shit. Like they were good.
No, yeah, exactly. Like
if they play like that every week, they'll stay up. But there's no way they'll play like that every week.
Liverpool.
It was a scale. Liverpool were like 30% of what they can be, but Fulham were brilliant. Like it was literally, the Fulham were very, very good. They were strong, lots of fight. They looked like Brentford last season did. They just went for everything. Like this is like play for your lives. The time will come. They won't be able to play like that every week.
Yeah.
What's going to be important for them staying up this season is their home form. And a game like this against Wolves, they will want points from it, even if it's a draw. They'll need something from this game because they may come to need it later on in the season.
No, yeah. You guys at Liverpool, that Liverpool game, that was the worst time to play Fulham.
Yeah.
Full of energy. They were getting in behind. You guys didn't look sharp. You guys looked way more sharp than City in preseason, but once they hit that first game, you guys looked like you guys were like 5 yards off the pace. Fulham took full advantage of that. They shocked a lot of people. So I don't expect them to come out with that same energy. I think they'll try, but I think we're one more game and we're 90 minutes more in the legs. I don't think that they'll have it. So
yeah, I'm going 1-1. Not too much to say on this one. Bruno Lage is going to have to start getting things going again at Wolves because the performances have dropped off since last season. They went from being a team that everyone was saying they don't score a lot, but they don't concede any. They were getting wins, they were getting good results, and then that slipped away. And towards the last 10 games of last season, Wolves conceded every match, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. They at one point I think they conceded 5 against City. They lost that air of defence, and everything that was good about Wolves last season is gone. They don't really score many, and they concede as well. So I'm going with 1-1. I think this is going to be a score draw. Mitrovic will probably end up getting the goal as well.
I'm gonna go with a little bit of a shocker here. I think that Fulham beat them 2-0.
You know what? I'm going for a high draw, 2-2.
2-2. Yeah. I think Wolves don't know what they are right now, and I think we saw that last season was that they weren't able to score goals, but they weren't conceding any goals. By the end, they weren't scoring goals, but they were conceding goals.
Neto and Podence will both be playing, right?
Yeah, Neto will play.
Yeah, man. I think there'll be goals in that game. I think that will be a high scoring game because I think there'll be at least one penalty in that game. Because if they're diving around like they were in that first game, there'll be at least one penalty in this game, probably.
That's it. Well, we'll see. That's going to be an interesting one, definitely.
Yeah, I'm just going for a shock factor. I want Fulham to do something, and honestly, sometimes I feel like we have this idea that going against everything I just said about Fulham not being able to keep up the levels necessarily. It is the second game; they might be able to do it, and I think that every time you think, okay, now where people are starting to get back in the rhythm of things, I think one game in a game week shocks you, and I think that this is the only one I can say there's going to be a weird result here. So because the next this game I don't think is actually surprising. I don't think it's going to be a surprise.
No, it's not a bad show. It's not a crazy.
Not at all. Outrageous. Now, the main event for Saturday and probably not at the weekend. There's a bigger game at the weekend. But Brentford versus Man United, the main event. Here we go.
I've got like 5 minutes before I got to hop off.
That's it. No worries, Aaron. You've got to go. Just give us a nod, mate. We always appreciate you got to shoot.
Cool.
But yeah, Brentford versus United. We'll get your score out, Aaron. What do you think's happening here, mate? What do you reckon?
See, I don't see United getting that W yet. I don't know why. I like when I look at this game, I just feel like something is gonna happen, whether it's a draw or them lose. If I had to pick, I'd say that they're gonna draw, maybe 1-1 draw. A lot of missed shots, a lot of misfires, but maybe they'll be winning the game for most of it and won't be able to hold it. That's what I think. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. Another frustrating game for United.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think
that's my opinion. I think both teams will concede. I think they'll both concede. I don't think there'll be a lot of goals, but I think they'll both concede. Brentford showed they're capable of conceding a goal. United showed that they're capable of conceding a goal. Ivan Toney is more than likely going to score, in my opinion. I think he'll take his chance. He'll get a chance. You'll get chances. He'll probably take a chance. I'm going with 1-1, but it could quite easily be a 2-1 either way. I know I'm being boring and probably sitting on the fence, but genuinely, I don't think there's going to be a lot in this game. I don't think there's going to be a lot in it. It'll be fine margins.
Yeah, it will be fine margins, and they have the perfect setup against United at this point in time. A shorter center back who hasn't really experienced the Premier League against Ivan Toney, and then Mbeumo against Harry Maguire. It's such a mismatch. I mean, they're going to score. I don't know how many they're going to score, but they're going to score at least one. It depends on if Ten Hag is brave. If he's not brave, then he'll play Maguire, Martinez, Shaw, and Delot.
You know what? I forgot that Christensen might be able to peel those guys open.
Well, ideally, we'll have Fred and Christensen in a 2, even though we play like a 4-3-3 right now.
I mean, Eriksen.
I mean, yeah, Christian Eriksen. You want Christian
Eriksen?
Play
for Barca.
Yeah, man. You want Christian Eriksen peeling those balls through those guys that he knows can't catch it.
And the problem is we still don't have Martial, so we don't have a forward because Cristiano Ronaldo, even when he plays 9, is not a forward. He's not a central forward. Sorry, he's not a 9. He doesn't link play. He doesn't bring anything to the team except for threat inside the box.
True. I forgot you don't have an attacker. You know what?
I honestly
just forget that.
I know it's ifs and buts, but I think that Brighton game goes very differently if we have Martial. I really do, because during preseason he was the entire linchpin to our attack. The moment we don't have Tony in, we're screwed. Like our entire attack becomes redundant because we don't have anyone to link between Sancho and Rashford. We need Tony in there.
Sancho needs to step it up to like big time in this game, I guess.
He can't really.
Or else how would I don't see who else will. Like, you know what I mean? Like the real goal threats are what? Sancho, maybe Eriksen, maybe Bruno, but Bruno hasn't had a goal threat. No, like isn't really looking like a goal threat right now.
That's the other thing that people missed on the Brighton game. We should have been 2-0 up before they even scored a goal, but Bruno's had an absolute stinker. Rashford missed from 4 yards out. No, actually 8 yards out. Like the team still has goals in it, but no one looks sharp. So honestly, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying when we miss Tony, forget about our front line. We need miracles when we don't have a link man.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game at the Brentford.
Yeah, United might score like a free kick or something. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. Like a free kick or not a corner, because you guys never score corners, but maybe it would probably be a free kick or a penalty.
No, but like I said, Ten Hag just needs to be brave. He needs to change it up. He needs to play Malacia over Shaw. He needs to. Shaw has a stinker. He needs to play Malacia over Shaw. He needs to play Varane over Maguire, even though Varane's not good enough on the ball. He needs to do that with Martinez. Delot is fine. He needs to play Fred and Eriksen instead of McTominay. He needs to
let one of your youngsters gotta go, bro. Like next to Eriksen or Fred. Like, you know?
What do you mean?
Like one of your best youngsters who's looking the best in training right now in the holding role. It just can't be McTominay and Fred again. So like if I was you, I would even prefer that. Let someone get their chance. It can't be worse.
I would play exactly 100%. And this is what I said when people were talking to me about, Rabiot and this and that. I said, dude, just play Iqbal and Savage. Just play those two. Like
I heard Garner's the guy. People keep telling me Garner's the guy and Iqbal's gonna be this. Well, fuck, let me see it then.
That's not Garner's position. But yeah, no, Iqbal or someone, like anyone's better than McTominay. Like Fred is not a bad player. He's totally underutilized. He's utilizing the completely wrong position. McTominay is not good enough. He should never.
Correct me if I'm wrong. In your last game, Fred was like more playing the holding role, and McTominay was doing what Fred should probably be doing. Am I wrong?
Say it one more time. Sorry.
In your last game, it seemed like Fred was more playing the holding role, and McTominay was, the one who was more forward than Fred was.
Yeah, the problem is what McTominay was doing was he was basically playing as a 10. So every time Fred got the ball, he would run up front. When Fred had the ball, then there's no one to pass to in midfield because McTominay goes and hides. The closer the ball gets to McTominay, the further away from the ball he moves.
So there was a video on Twitter that someone had put on. It was a point where someone go, look at this fraud, and McTominay is literally not doing anything in particular on the pitch. Like, I'll have to find it and send it to you, Jesse, because I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Like he was doing what you say, doing hiding. And it was like he's a fraud. He's not a player at all. He's not a player. Gets a yellow card. There's a video when they do those, you don't know what happens next. It's like McTominay in this position ends up giving a yellow card and a free kick away from here. And it's like,
and they're attacking with the ball.
Yeah, that's it. You're attacking. He gives away a free kick and a yellow card in that position. It's like, he's not good enough. And I've said this from the start, and that's it. When it's like a fan of another team saying, like, oh, he's not good enough, he's just bitter. It's like, it's not. He ain't good enough. He ain't good enough at all, anywhere near.
Yeah, he's less than good enough. His existence doesn't make sense. He's an anomaly at Manchester United. Let me just go ahead and bring this up. Jesse, do you have complete faith in Ten Hag? I don't have complete faith in anything in life. Ten Hag is a good manager, but the way that this thing is going, man, like I'm along for the ride, man. Like I'm cool finishing mid-table for 5 seasons if it means the Glazers run out of cash. Their cash cow dries up. I have to put up with unlimited banter for 5 years, but then they have to sell. Dude, like I'll do anything to get these guys out, because whether Ten Hag succeeds or not, it's just going to continue the train. Rivals should probably want us to get top 4 this season. That's how bad our owners are.
Because it'll keep carrying on.
Yep, because it'll keep carrying on. If we fail for the next 5-10 seasons, eventually they will have to sell, because it just won't be viable. The club is worth half of what it was 3 years ago. Now, it's only going to get worse if we don't get Champions League. So,
I mean, this is a big one. I think big result is. I think this could be very pressurized for everyone involved if it doesn't go the way, of United, and it looks like a game that could well definitely go against United. So that's going to be a really good, interesting watch for the neutral. Not so much for United fans, I think. In all fairness, so moving on to Sunday, just go kind of quick cap for the 2 games.
Super Sunday.
Forest, West Ham. I mean, let's get it straight. First home game for Nottingham Forest. West Ham, to be fair, I can't see anything but a nice, comfortable win for West Ham, to be honest. Even though they were beaten comprehensively by City.
Yeah, they looked bad as well.
Even though they were beaten comprehensively by City, the thing is they still had good quality chances. They still have the quality of
in the
players.
First half, though, right? Like in the second half, they were just kind of like bent over and let it happen. Yeah. I mean, these things happen. I mean, that's what City does to you. At the end of the day, they're a team who's able to literally pass you to death. I'd say at one point it was 300 and something passes to West Ham's 30. It was ridiculous. They can just pass you to death. For me, I think West Ham get a nice, comfortable win here. I'm backing West Ham to get off to a good game here. What's the score?
For me, 3-0. I think Scamacca looked good when he came on. I think he looks like he's going to be dangerous.
He did.
Antonio's not the man. I think he might get dropped. Scamacca, I think they're going to get some nice, comfortable goals here. Nottingham Forest, it's a rough start. Newcastle, West Ham, first 2 games is a rough start. I'm backing them to get things right later down the line, but can't see anything from this game for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I don't think that. First game at home for Nottingham in the Premier League for the first time in how many years? 25?
20 odd.
Yeah, 20 odd. No, West Ham will do it. Maybe like a 2-0 or something. I just don't. Yeah, I don't think Nottingham are settled enough. So
no, there's not enough settlement there. What do you reckon, Aaron? What do you reckon the score?
Honestly, I think that West Ham do win, but I don't think it's as convincing as 3-0. I think it'll be like a 2-1 or a 1-0. I think that Nottingham will play better in this game. I think they'll try to attack their home. It's the first home game for their fans. There's no way they're going to first time back up in the Premier League, sit back and just take it all game like they did last game. I don't think they're going to do that this time. So I think it'll be like a much better game. And West Ham are looking rusty. If they don't start Scamacca, it might even be tighter than I think, because I think Scamacca was the only bright light, I guess, on that team last week that looked like he could even score. No one else looked like they could score in that team, really. last week. Other than maybe Jared Bowen, but Bowen wasn't on it either, you know? So.
No, 100%. John Carter, thank you very much for your comment, mate. We appreciate you coming across the channel. Do not underestimate Forest's first home game in God knows how long in the Prem. Mate, you're totally right, John.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, obviously, my first Nottingham Forest game for me to watch, obviously, in recent memory was the FA Cup quarterfinals, and they were big. Like, they got the noise place rock, and they're ready for, you know, some big football. It's going to be a good game, and I'm expecting Forest to have a good season. I don't know if you've watched a little bit earlier on. I do think Forest will have a good season as things will go on. I just think it's a little bit too soon. I think West Ham, with the players, with the manager, he's a very experienced manager. He's under a little bit of pressure. You can't go into 2 games. They'll be looking at this as a must-win. My vision on this is I think this is just a game too far for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
And I just think, unfortunately, West Ham will have the players who are more kind of settled in the Premier League, who will be able to just get those goals that they need. I'd love to hear what your opinion is on that, mate. Yeah, just put your comment in, and we'll go back to it. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I just want to respond because I'm the one who is basically doubting Forest in this game as well. And so
jump in, mate. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it really is. I mean, I mentioned that, and I've mentioned it for the other 2 teams that came up as well. It's not just a step too far. I do think that it's going to be an organization betting in period for Forest. They might get through on pure adrenaline, but if they do, I'm kind of going against the grain here. If they do get by on just the moment, the occasion, it could totally happen. But like Dan has said, it's just a step too early. That was really the point.
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. I mean, obviously putting the first ever team to win the European Cup back to back, absolutely. But what I'll say to that is Liverpool were the first team to win it 5 times and still weren't always a successful team within the Premier League. You know, it's not always that barometer. They're a very good club, and this is why I'm backing them. I think Steve Cooper's a great manager. I think he will get this team going. I don't doubt his abilities in any way, shape or form. Nottingham Forest have got some really good players they're bringing in. Nico Williams I rate very highly. I think he'll be really good. You know, they brought in Emmanuel Dennis. He's a goal scorer. I think he'll get goals. He did for Watford, and Watford were poor, and he still scores. So for me, I'm backing them big time. I just think this is a little bit too soon. I think the games in Nottingham Forest will win, more likely coming up this season, are going to be kind of bottom half of the table, at home and away. That's where their results are going to come from, if that makes sense. I can see them getting results against teams like, say, for example, not Leicester, I was going to say Southampton. I think they'll beat Southampton home and away. That's my opinion. No problem at all. But I think this is a game too soon. So, yeah, definitely not downplaying Nottingham Forest, but I think it's a little bit too soon.
I'm just curious real quick to take a look.
That's fair.
Yeah, Everton, Tottenham, City, Bournemouth, Leeds. Yeah, I think this is the area.
It's where it comes in here. There's your 6. Those 6 games from Bournemouth onwards are all games that they should be looking at where they'll go, we can get something from this. We can get points in every one of those games. That's where it is.
Yeah, I think that's where they're looking.
That's where they pick up their form. Yeah. No,
I think they'll pick up some form. I think they'll look at the Everton game and look to try and get a result. Under pressure manager, could be 2 games lost if they lose to Villa. Coming up against Nottingham Forest, Goodison Park, tough game, tough place to go to for any team, Liverpool included, and City. Ask them last season. It's very much a possibility. But Tottenham, I'm not seeing much out of Tottenham. Man City, come on, it's going to be horrible.
Yeah, I don't think. Just with John here, do you think that the Jesse Lingard scenario will come to play? Mind games, honestly, in the games that are coming up, West Ham, he might have a little bit of an effect just because it's West Ham. But honestly, West Ham don't really play a style where Jesse's super suited to playing against. Everton will maybe. Tottenham don't play that way. They're going to play super condensed. City, I mean, it's just a far cry. Really, you need games to be more open if you want Jesse to do much. So
City, I mean, not that Bournemouth, that game, they'll be looking for 3 points in that one. They'll be expecting that. That's a bread and butter game that they'll look at and think we can get 3 points here. Leeds away, they'll be looking to get a draw in that match. Fulham at home, they'll be looking to try and get a win in that match. Leicester away, they'll be looking to get a draw in that match. Villa at home, a draw or a win, maybe a win perhaps, depending on how situations are going. Wolves away, there's a potential 3 points that they're going to end up going and doing. Brighton, there's another possible, 1.3 points they could pick up. Then it's Liverpool, then it's Arsenal. They're going to have to take the rough with the smooth this season, I'm afraid.
Yeah, they are. Yep, 100%.
But let's move this next one along. 100% John. Against West Ham. He's going to be interesting. So this is the big game of the weekend, I would say.
Super Sunday game.
That's it. Tottenham versus Chelsea versus Tottenham, Stamford Bridge. Boys, I can't call this. I think Forest will stay out, John. I agree with you. Chelsea
I agree with that
versus
as well.
Tottenham. Can't call it. I can see anything happening in this. I could see Tottenham winning comfortably, but I could also see it going the opposite way and it end up being an absolute snooze fest.
I'm pretty sure Tottenham has like the worst record in this fixture away at Chelsea, like out of any team that they've played in the Premier League over the past like 5 years.
Which is weird. It's right around the corner. It's not that far,
Something about Stamford Bridge, like there's certain places that just don't work. Now I'm curious, like honestly, I think that Tottenham look way more dangerous right now. Chelsea did not look, despite the fact that they didn't concede against Everton, which isn't saying too much right now. I mean, they don't really have an attack, Everton. Chelsea's defense didn't look that solid. So I'm not really sure. What do you kind of think about this one, Aaron? Like, if you had to guess, I mean, like it's Tottenham looked pretty dangerous. So
if I had to call it, I'm back in Chelsea. I mean, if I'm basing it off of what we've seen so far of football, I should say Spurs. But yeah, I'm not convinced yet with Spurs that they can go on that run and win all the games that like they're supposed to win. Like I think they can go on like a good run, but time will tell. In any second game of the season, but yeah, I still back Chelsea to win, even if it's a 1-0, even if it's ugly, even if it's a boring game. I still think Chelsea will win it, or they won't lose it. I don't see Spurs winning the game away at one of the top 6 teams the second game of the season. I don't see it.
Yeah. I mean,
Chelsea, draw, Chelsea, Chelsea. It's a chant, by the way.
Chelsea.
So the last time Spurs won a game at all was in the League Cup, 2019. Can't see how that's going to work. Premier League, Chelsea. Well, there you go. So April 1st, 2018 was the last time Spurs won at Stamford Bridge. It was 3-1. No. Not just forget the stats. I'm just looking and saying that it's history sometimes plays. When you look at these mad games where it's like, Man United haven't beaten a certain team away from home in like 9 years, something ridiculous. These things stick sometimes, and I just have a feeling. For me, I'm back in a 1-1 draw. I think this is going to be a snooze fest. I don't think it's going to be an exciting game at all. I think it's going to be very negative. I can see a draw. It could even be 0-0. But I think the players will be there to score. I think 1-0.
This does have, and people always say like, don't look at the stats. I mean, like I agree in general, like football's mad. But when it comes down to it, history tends to repeat itself. Yeah, and I think if you just look at the two teams, Chelsea doesn't have any attacking impetus at this moment in time. They're relying on their midfield and attack. Tottenham have a sting in their tail. That's the one thing I will say. I could see a Tottenham upset. I could see them winning 1-0, 2-1, something like that, or 2-0 maybe even. But I think that, I think it's regardless of the scoreline, it's going to be hyped up and it's going to be a boring game.
Yeah, it's going to be so heavy. They're going to be going really big on this being a dead exciting game, and then I think we're going to watch it and we'll be sitting there like, come on, what's going to happen? It's just this. It's going to be Conte back at Chelsea with a point to prove. Chelsea low on self-confidence. No, you're totally right, John. I do agree with what you're saying there, mate. But like, it's a coin of Bill Kenwright phase. It's still Spurs, though, isn't it? You know, I can't get it out of me. I can't get it out of
I haven't
my
seen
head
enough
quite
yet.
yet.
I'm telling you, like Spurs is still Spurs to me until I see otherwise. You know,
Yeah,
like
being
how I'm gonna judge them.
Southampton 4-1 is a good result, but did it surprise me? Not
I feel like
really.
they could do that any year. Southampton's been horrible for like 3 years, like really bad, like very lucky to still be in the Premier League type of bad. You know?
Yeah.
You know what it is about Spurs though. This is the reason why they're hard to call, is because it entirely depends on how clinical they are on their day. And they aren't clinical all the time. That's why they struggled last season, even under Conte. Conte had them playing his system pretty quickly, but they have to be clinical. The thing that helps them, obviously, is having a few players who, one of them will show up. One of Kane, Son, or Kulusevski will probably show up. But that's what they depend on. Like, they don't play a system that will create a load of chances. People, make sure you're live on Sunday. I mean, dude, well, we might be here, but we might be here on Monday night as well. But like, honestly, it really depends. Tottenham need to be clinical, and that's their entire game plan, because their entire system is not conducive to creating lots of chances. They could score 4 goals, but it's not. You know, it's not. None of us care about Chelsea or Tottenham, to be fair. So I don't think.
Yeah, I promise you, I've got no love or hate for either team. That really don't concern me. Yeah. I'm literally just seeing it as I'm looking at it. I'm looking at a Chelsea team who I think are going to struggle for top 4 this season, and I'm also looking at a Spurs team who I think are being a little bit overplayed. I think they are being overplayed.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, man. No, I'm sorry. My boys who are Spurs fans are talking about that they might challenge for the title. Trust me, it's been overplayed, in my opinion.
Oh no,
like people are saying they've arrived. You know what I mean? Like they're on Liverpool and City's level already. How? But we'll see.
See. No, we did, John. I don't know if you've watched our channel a little bit. We watch all the games, like every match. Like I'm that much of a football nerd. If I don't watch the whole game, I will watch the extended 30 to 40-minute highlights of each game. Right. Just so I know what I'm talking about. I don't like to chat nonsense. I'm not one of them people who just looks at a score and then bullshits. I did. Chelsea, I agree with you, were poor. But they weren't an attacking threat. Like they filled me with the same level of confidence that they always do when they play at Goodison Park. They don't do well against Everton. They're just a team who is a problem for them. So I didn't predict they'd get a great result anyway. Right. The difference is Stamford Bridge is still a big place for them. Chelsea still have this ability to pull out a good performance. Do I think they'll beat Spurs? No, I actually don't. I actually, as you've mentioned earlier, John, I don't see any world where Chelsea win this game. I just don't see Tottenham turning up and being able to overcome Chelsea. That's just the way I see it. I could be wrong, but I have a real opinion that I think this is going to be a 1-1, or I just think it's going to be 1-1. I just have a strange feeling that it's going to let everybody down in terms of the hype will be up here and the actual game will be right down here. It'll be tap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like, that definitely could happen.
Even when you look at this Southampton game, this is the most misleading stat for a season I've ever seen. Like, they're not going to control games against top teams like this. Like, it's probably going to be a lot of Chelsea possession.
Yeah.
And Spurs countering. I was going to say, I don't even mind Chelsea's attack. I mean, it's pretty dreadful, but Chelsea's defense is not really good enough. I think that Tottenham is not going to have a lot of control over games this season. I think that was, as an opening day fixture, was pretty misleading.
It was ideal. It was an ideal opening game. A team who we all back on this channel to get relegated in Southampton being beaten by Spurs.
Yeah. That's the one thing we all agree on, that Southampton's going down.
Yeah. But at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, beating Southampton 4-1, I mean, to coin a Shania Twain, you don't impress me much right now. Yeah. I'm afraid. It's what I would have expected, shall we say. It's an expectation that you would win 3-4-1. That's how I see it. John's got a big comment there. Who's saying Spurs are on City's level? Not you. I know you're not, but trust me, there's a lot of people out there.
People saying, I'm telling you, this Spurs fans telling me this. Like, I've seen in person.
we're going up next season. We're doing this. We're doing that next season. Not you, but there's enough people out there who are making big noises about Tottenham going and challenging for titles and stuff. And I don't see that happening. Do you know what I mean? I just don't see it happening at all.
I can see them winning a trophy this year, like a decent trophy that would be.
Oh no,
really
there's
good.
There's something I disagree with. I'll upset John now. Tottenham won't win anything this season.
No.
Sorry. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why I think
said I could see them winning something, bro.
No, but do you want to know why I think that?
And it won't be because of Conte thing. You're just saying it's just because of the Spurs.
No, because Conte's only ever won one domestic trophy, the FA Cup.
Right. You only
wins leagues. He only wins leagues.
You only think they can win the FA Cup?
No, he won't. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think he will, because I think there's too much pressure on getting a top 4 finish this season for Tottenham. I don't think they will be able to play that 11 for 50 odd games.
The League Cup?
No, I think City will win the League Cup.
Yeah, they probably.
I think City will go back to win the League Cup. I think they'll go in there and go, right, well, we gave it away last season. I'm going to win it this season. I think City will win it 100%, and that's the way I see it. A good cup run, I agree. John, me and you were on the same thing. I think that they'll have a good cup run, but I don't think they'll win one. Conte showed it last season. He was poor in both cups. Why will it change this season? Makes no sense. It makes no sense. It doesn't.
Fair enough. I mean, when he won the FA Cup with Chelsea, though, no one would have thought he would have won it with them either.
I'm just.
But everyone says this, but in what world was Chelsea a bad team when he won with them?
It's not that they were a bad team. They were better teams, though, too. Right? Like it wasn't like it was easy for him to win that FA Cup. It wasn't like a walk in the park FA Cup.
No, of course not.
You know what I mean?
It's never easy to win the FA Cup or the League Cup. I mean, just ask Chelsea last season. They weren't able to do it either.
Wait. Because we have a good John. Thanks for your comments, by the way. We'll get to the last.
Yeah, we'll get into them in a second.
Score predictions just real quick, because John is leading us straight into what to Liverpool. So
yeah. We'll lead you straight there. Yeah. So for me, 1-1 Chelsea.
1-1. Go ahead, Aaron. I have one, but I just want to. Yeah.
I'm saying 2-1 Chelsea.
I'm saying 2-1 Spurs. Good in.
That's it. Brill, right. Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. I'm ready to go over a quick one on this one, to be fair, and this was all. I'll just have a quick chat with John. We appreciate him jumping in, put his comments in. I mean, for me, Anfield, we still have a very strong team. I think we are going where we need to be. I think we're going to get a 2-0, something like that. I think we'll be quite comfortable in this one. Good team. I think we'll be a good squad. I think we're going to win 2-0 in this game. Could even be 3. Darwin Núñez will start. We will see a better Liverpool than against Fulham. Put it that way.
Yeah, no, I think we beat them even better than that. I think it'll be like a statement. It's the first home game. Home game. The first home game is always electric for us every year, no matter who it is. They'll be up for it, and they'll be up for it much more. Like, they got a point to prove. Klopp. I almost got the vibe that Klopp was like embarrassed, like at the first game's performance, like the press conference, everything. It was like embarrassing, and those guys will feel that. They got to put that right in this game. Unfortunately, Crystal Palace is going to be the team that's going to have to deal with a team that has, to make the manager happy again. That's what I think. I think it's going to be like 4-1 or 4-0. We've given them some real high score lines, and at home, I think Darwin will get a brace. I think Salah will score, and that's 3 right there, and someone else will score.
So Darwin is definitely starting for you guys now, yeah?
Oh, he's got to. He has to start this game. He has to start this game.
No, I agree. I just want to make sure.
For sure.
No, the whole, easing him in, slowly protecting him. He came in against Fulham and he changed the game. He's ready. He doesn't need protecting or loving or anything like that.
Yeah.
He wants to play. He's ready for the pressure. You can see he's a hungry man. He's a hungry player.
Yeah, he's super instinctive. He's one of those players that I think the pressure outside of football will pile on him. I think that will get to him. But I think once he's on the pitch, I mean, the fact that he actually went for 2 back heels in a row.
On your debut when you're losing.
Clearly he does that shit all the time, and he's like, no, I'm doing it. I don't care. If I get the chance, I'm doing it. Like, you got to be a certain type of player to want to do that.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. I don't know. I'm not gonna bring in he must not be named with Mason, but I mean that was how Rude was like Ruud van Nistelrooy. Every time
Rude.
He would just do the same thing over and over again. It like wouldn't come off 2 times, and you'd be so frustrated. And then he'd bang in like 2 goals in 10 minutes, doing the same thing. He'd do it 4 times over and over, but he'd end up scoring it. Like, no, I like that ego, and I don't think it's even like, well, I'm gonna score that anyways. I'm gonna do this skill or whatever. It's just in his blood. It's just
he believes in his own ability that he's
yeah, he doesn't even
and that's true. I mean, listen, for anyone out there who doesn't want to hear it, I mean, everyone knows Liverpool were crap against Fulham. As simple as that. They were crap. There was no other way of saying it. But if he can play like that when we're playing crap, what's he going to be like when we play well? What's he going to be like when we control the possession and we're getting lots of chances? He's just going to score hatfuls because of the amount of chances we will create. He will be a volume player. He's a volume player. He's like a Timo Werner. If you feed him 100 balls, he'll probably score 35 goals. He just needs chance. Keep giving him them, and he'll put enough of them away. It's as simple as that. That's the way I see it.
You guys look so much more dangerous.
I was thinking the exact same thing because Trent had a horrible game and
awful game, horrendous.
He pinged in maybe 1 good ball that ended up being a goal. I was imagine any games where he's punging 6 in a row that have been perfectly right where they need to be. That's gonna be dangerous.
Exactly. And that's it, 100%, and that's perfect. So we've got our score. Jesse, just your score prediction. Then we'll just go into what John's got to say.
Yeah,
Liverpool. Because of your performance in the first game, I gotta take it back a little bit. 2-0 because I wasn't impressed by Palace.
Wait,
I actually think 2.
Wait, no Konate or Matip. That's what Twisted's saying.
So wait,
that's right. Yeah.
So wait up.
The only way this gets messed up is because Konate and Matip are out. But I think
why are both of them out? Why is Matip out as well? He has a knock.
Apparently,
he has a groin injury.
Man.
Yeah. He sits out training. It doesn't necessarily mean he's ruled out. But it more likely he's just not going to risk giving you a play Gomez.
So it'll be Gomez and Van Dijk then.
Yeah.
Oh, and Gomez is ready.
Dijk. I'm happy.
Huh? It'll be Gomez and Van Dijk, right?
Yeah.
More than likely. Yeah.
Yeah, remember I told you in the summer, I told you Gomez ain't going nowhere. Remember I told you that?
No, great player. I'm really pleased he's stuck around. We'll just go through these before we go on then. So we lost to Southampton last season. How was it an easy game? Southampton lost 9 out of the last 10 games last season. They've now lost 10 out of 11. If you carry them on, they're crap. That's why it was an easy game. They are a crap team, I'm afraid. Can't say anything more than that. And winning and drawing with a championship club was impressive. No, it was crap.
It was
really
not
crap.
Impressive. It was not impressive
at
all.
It was. I'll tell you the 2 games where it was just as bad. It was the first half against Villarreal in the Champions League semi-final. That was crap. And then it was Leicester away just after Christmas when we lost 1-0. That was also crap. Those were the 2 games. No,
that West Ham game too. I remember that West Ham game.
And then that was the one before it when you could just tell we ain't winning this. We ain't winning this game, man. We were crap. But yeah, no, 100%, mate. Yeah, no, we certainly were not impressive in any way, shape, or form. Liverpool played every game possible in a season last year and basically won fuck all. Just the 2 trophies. Your squad is now weaker than the last season. Where do you see yourselves finishing or winning?
That's a good question.
You know what? Interesting question. What do I see us winning? Now, I don't think we'll actually win the League Cup or the FA Cup because I think we won the League Cup by accident. And I say we won it by accident is because if you go back through our run, we should have lost to Leicester at home at Anfield. But then Takumi Minamino decided, you know what? I don't fancy us losing this one. I'm going to score a last-minute goal and take us to extra time. And then we went on to winning penalties in that one. And then all of a sudden, we just ended up finding ourselves in the semi-final against Arsenal. And what does Diogo Jota do when he plays against Arsenal? He just scores goals. And that's what he likes to do. And then before you know it, you're in a final. And when you're in a final, you might as well try and win it. The FA Cup, on the other hand, I mean, we did get a big buy because Man City decided to make huge changes in the semi-finals. And, you know, we got the result that we wanted and we won the FA Cup. To say that winning a League Cup and the FA Cup is fuck all, I mean, that's subjective. I think it's
No,
not.
but this guy's a Spurs fan, right?
I know, yeah. I mean,
That's wild then. That's even more wild. That's too wild, actually. To say one
that's
fuck
it.
all, won 2 of the English trophies in the English league that you play in. Come on. Come on.
I mean, Spurs. I mean, the Premier League's been going for 30 years, and Spurs won 2 trophies in 30 years. I believe that's the case.
And I think they were both League Cups, right?
They were indeed. So that's it. There's a lot of Spurs fans who've never seen anything them win. So there it is. We'll take it as it is. Plus, we've got a load more money. Are we a weaker team?
I don't think we're.
I'm
question.
not sure.
There's arguments for both sides there.
It's too early to tell. It's too early to tell.
But I think
too early to tell.
No. So let me finish what I'm saying. I think there are arguments there. I don't think, and a lot of people will disagree with me on this, I don't think DS is a massive downgrade on Mane with where he's at in his career and what he's moving towards. And
right.
He wanted to move on and go to take on a new challenge.
Yeah.
Only time will tell with Diaz. Yeah. He looks good. He should have had 2 or 3 goals in that opening game.
On another day, he probably would.
Nunez will prove to be a massive upgrade on not just Firmino, but also Shota. 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that totally. I think Diaz is still a little bit raw.
But your midfield is weak, and only time will tell with your attack. So that's why I can kind of see, there's an argument there to say the squad.
No, 100%. I don't think the League Cup or the FA Cup. I just don't think that'll happen at all. I could see us losing out on that one. I think Klopp will revert back to playing youth within the early stages, and we might need some big doses of luck with the teams that we come up against. Yeah. If we end up coming against League One and League Two and Championship competition in the earlier stages in the draw, then we could go further. But if we end up with a Chelsea or a Man City, or we end up with someone like, even a mid-table Premier League club, I think we'll more than likely not do well in it. I've always said this as a Liverpool fan. So, I mean, where do I see us finishing? I think we'll challenge for it. I think we'll challenge for the title. I still think that we'll be in and about. I think we could probably go on to win it. But then it's going to be depending, unfortunately, on Liverpool's injuries in midfield. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm worried, to be honest. I'm worried.
Okay. Well, I would say, in my opinion, it's very similar to yours, because I think they were going to challenge right to the end for the title as well. I don't like to involve who's going to be injured or not, because it's going to happen anyways. Not just for us, you know what I mean? Like people are going to get injured. But I still think that we'll still be able to muster a challenge. I don't think that our team will be any more injured than the next team. City will have injuries too. I don't think Haaland will be fit the whole season. He hasn't been in the last few seasons. You know what I mean? So I think that it won't just be us that has to worry about that. So I think we'll challenge on all fronts. I have a feeling that whichever one we do better in, so for example, if we're challenging City till the end in the league, I don't see us making it to the Champions League final again. If we take them to the wire to the very end, I don't think that'll happen. But if we don't, if we fall off and it looks like it's going to be like a 10-point gap to second or something like that, then I could see us going and winning the Champions League still. I still back us to do it.
No, I agree with that one. I know 100%. So, John, beating Southampton 4-1 wasn't impressive. I mean, at the same point being that you're a top 4 club, which I believe is what, Tottenham want to be seen as, don't they? They want to be seen as a top 4 club and as a strong team. Is beating Southampton 4-1/3-0, or however way you want to see it, conceding an early goal again, in that game, is it impressive? A little bit. It's not like I'm going to sit here and be like, whoa, these are incredible boys. If you'd gone and beaten West Ham 4-1, then it'd have been like, oh, actually, hang on, these boys are serious. But if you've watched any of our early shows, I genuinely think Southampton are going down, and that they are going to be in a right mess.
I think in 3 to 4 weeks, John's going to realize why it's not that impressive, because they're going to take another 4-1 or 5-1 from someone else for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. and it'll come around. The only blessing is Salah has no World Cup. I totally agree. I think it's brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic that he's. Yeah, cheers, John. I appreciate you jumping on first show. Thanks for. No,
also, Diaz has no World Cup either.
No, he doesn't. And John, just I'll come on to it, mate. We really appreciate you coming on. It really helps us trying to build a channel. You can see we're going up for 250. Please join as much as you can. We're always getting involved with it. So your only blessing, Salah has no World Cup. No, you're totally right. I mean, there's a lot of players actually who have no World Cup in effect. There's those who won't go to the World Cup and those who won't play. And those I'm quite happy with is Trent Alexander-Arnold will go to the World Cup, will probably not play very much. Jordan Henderson will go to the World Cup, will probably not play very much. Alisson probably won't be first choice for Brazil. I
don't know, man. They switch so often, those two.
Yeah,
like, honestly, it's like you can never tell who they're going to pick.
It's usually Alisson.
Is it usually Alisson? Yeah.
Like lately, it's been Alisson. Yeah.
Fabinho will get a break. He doesn't get to play for Brazil.
He usually comes on when they're up 2. No, but he usually comes on when they're up by 2.
Oh,
like if they score, if they got a 2-goal cushion at any point in that World Cup, he'll come on.
He comes on. He comes on for Casemiro, but still, that's less minutes in the legs. So yeah,
that's it. Less minutes in there. He will still travel. John, I'm going to give you one more if he'll travel. He'll definitely travel. Darwin Nunez probably isn't first choice for Uruguay. He still doesn't get first team football for them.
What do you mean? Over who? Cavani and Suarez?
Yeah.
No, mate. Suarez, is like playing in like the Uruguayan league. Like he's very like. And Cavani doesn't even have a team. I don't even think Cavani's playing football right now.
Still love him. I'm afraid they still love him. They just do.
The last 2 internationals I saw, I mean, Nunez was up top there, bro.
Yeah, he's gonna come in. Cavani was going out of favor.
He's playing for Liverpool. He's gonna start over those guys. Wow.
And that was my point. Now that he's at a big club, he probably will.
Yeah.
He'll definitely get. I mean, more and more minutes. Cavani can't do. I mean, it's like for leg.
I don't even think Suarez can last 90 now. Honestly, I'm not even joking. I don't think he can last 90 minutes now.
No. Suarez clocked out his ticket at the right time, unlike Cristiano Ronaldo.
Right.
So he's done.
Diogo Jota is one of our players who will receive a lot of minutes. So I'm afraid he will receive.
Yeah, he's going to be that guy. He's
a first choice player for them. Van Dijk will get a lot of minutes. He will be first choice for the Dutch. Luis Diaz gets a full break. Salah gets a full break. Thiago will definitely get a full break because he won't be in the Spanish national team.
Will Bobby go?
No, Firmino, I don't think is in the.
I don't think he'll make it. Yeah, I don't think he'll make it. But he goes. He keeps traveling with the team though every time.
Yeah, even if he doesn't, he probably won't play. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting one. I think it does really help. Now the final thing is here saying if the first show, lads, we always appreciate you coming on. Please say you've gone on there. He will still travel. Now, me and Jesse a few shows ago, and actually on our Discord, we have a Discord that we run. We both predicted this months ago. We said they're going to stay. They're all going to go on they're going on a training camp to Dubai while the World Cup is on. Well, surprise, surprise, Liverpool are already traveling with them. Liverpool will be in the Middle East while the World Cup is on. So when these players finish their World Cup, if they don't get out the group stages and all the rest of it, they will end up joining the Liverpool team in the Middle East. Which is great. It's a really good opportunity for a second pre-season. So we will be interested to see how that works. And I think a lot of teams are going to do this.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, every club kind of does. Liverpool likes to do like Switzerland and Austria a lot. They like to do that sort of thing, but it makes more sense. United is going to be there. United's training camp is definitely going to be out in maybe not Qatar, but Dubai or somewhere. Because that's what United does anyways. When they have a couple weeks off, they always do that. I mean they'll definitely be out there. So everyone will be traveling. Obviously, there'll be more tension and more on the players' minds. But honestly, if they're not playing, it's just a team building exercise with a different team. It's not going to change much. So Carlson will shine for Brazil. This is the one thing I was going to say about Bobby going. He will go because Brazil don't have options up front. They really don't. Not great options. They have Rafinha, Richarlison, Jesus, Neymar, and then they have like a couple other ones, but they're all kind of meh. You know what I mean? Like they're not. Good.
Yeah, like Everton, and like guys who are like okay, but they're not, not all stars.
Yeah, exactly. And then I need to bring this one up. Whoa. Don't disrespect Begron. Look, I've been watching Cristiano Ronaldo since he came to Manchester United. I know all about him. He is not it. He's not it. Anymore, to be clear. He's not what United need. He's probably not even what Portugal need. So I mean, don't respect him. I have respect for him as a player, but as a human being and everything else, I take him or leave him. I wouldn't want a friend like him.
And that's it. Well, we're not going into added time. We've hit our 90 minutes. We've got a little bit extra long. We really appreciate you, John, coming on there. It's really helped move us along and have the conversation. Please explain. It's going to be for another day. Come and join us on our next stream and he'll explain there. But listen, everyone who's been involved, Aaron, Jesse, John, Twisted, everyone who's been in the comments, everyone who's come and watched, we really, really appreciate your time. Please make sure if you like the video, it costs nothing. If you can subscribe, hit the bell notification, let us know when we're coming on. As we've already explained, if you get involved, you are involved in this channel. This isn't just a watch along and you listen to us yabber on nonsense. We want to engage, we want to talk, so please get involved. Always put the link out. People can join in and have their say. So yeah, listen, we love it. But thank you very much. Big game, big weekend of football. Hope to see you there, and we will catch you next time. Thank you very much, everyone. See you later.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.